Hey guys, and welcome to Hey Grill Hey. Today is a very good day because we are making the best food ever. Kansas City style burn ends. Let's get started. So I went to Kansas City last year and I ended up in some of the biggest restaurants in the town. I got to go behind the scenes, talk to the pitmasters, and everybody there is separating their brisket point from their flat to make their burn ends. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're starting with a whole packer brisket to make our burn ends, and we're gonna start by removing these really big, hard pieces of fat right here so we can get a better view of where our two pieces of muscle connect. This hard fat doesn't really add anything to the overall cook when we're taking the brisket into the smoker. And it also makes it a little bit harder for the seasoning to penetrate the meat itself. So this is fine to get rid of. Now that we've trimmed off the hard fat and trimmed up the sides a little bit, you can see how these two muscles are separated by this river of fat right here. That's exactly where we're going to take our knife to separate the flat right here from the point up here. And just use your knife and follow that fat as a guide, keeping an eye on both sides of your brisket so you can stay in the middle as much as possible. So now we have separated the point from the flat. At this point, you can season and smoke this flat for some beautiful sliced brisket, or you can set it aside, save it for another use. I'm actually gonna put mine in a wet cure and make some corned beef and some pastrami. But either way, at this point, we're turning our attention over to the deckle, to the point of this brisket. Get it trimmed up the rest of the way so we can start on our burn ends. Once you get that hard fat off, you can see how beautifully marbled this piece of meat is. And that's why this is called the fatty part of the brisket. This will make it incredibly juicy. Just flip it over, take this remaining chunk of hard fat off of the top right here, and we're ready to season. Our point is all trimmed up. You can see I left about 1/4 of an inch of this fat cap on the top. We removed all of this hard fat from the back. It won't cook down and it won't melt and it won't really render during the cooking process. And we didn't want that fat to block all of the seasoning from getting into the meat. We're seasoning really simply equal parts kosher salt, coarse black pepper, and garlic powder on all sides, but you can substitute with your favorite beef rub. When I went to Joe's in Kansas City, I was talking to the pitmaster and he told me that they use Missouri white oak. I don't know if that's available in your area. It's not in mine. So I'm using just regular post oak to smoke these burn ends, 225 on my smoker. These are gonna go for about 6 hours at 225. Spritz them every hour with beef broth to keep the moisture in there. Once they hit about 165, 170 and have pushed through that stall, pull them off the smoker and wrap them up in peach butcher paper. This will help keep the moisture in the brisket and also help that smoke kind of penetrate while it's still finishing cooking. This will take another few hours. You want to push it up to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. It's time to pull them off. This next step is pretty simple and it's actually optional. A lot of pitmasters at this point will pull their point off of the smoker, cube it up and eat it just as is. But we're doing Kansas City style burn ends. They like theirs a little bit sweet, a little bit saucy, just like meat candy. Simply slice your brisket into cubes. I think 1 inch is just about the right size. Once you get them all sliced up, it's kind of your choice. I like to put these beauties in a pan, cover them with about 1/2 cup of brown sugar and about 1 cup of barbecue sauce. This is my homemade Kansas City style barbecue sauce. It's tomato molasses based. It's got a little bit of apple cider vinegar and lots of brown sugar. So it's sweet, tangy, and just right for burn ends. Give them a toss. And now we're gonna head back out to the smoker, let the barbecue sauce and brown sugar caramelize on the outside of these burn ends. We're gonna keep it at 225, and it'll take anywhere from 90 minutes to another 2 hours, just depending on how tender and squishy you want your burn ends. Let's go. In case you were ever wondering what heaven smelled like, it smells like these burnt ends. Oh my gosh. I wish you guys could taste these, or that you could smell through computer screens, because these are just phenomenal. They're so tender. These are meat candy. They'll just absolutely fall apart in your mouth. Well, actually in my mouth. Oh, they're so good. If you guys like this video and this recipe, I would love it if you would like it, comment, and subscribe. We're putting out new grilling and barbecue recipes every single week, and I want you to be the first to know about it.